Well, hello, folks out there in YouTube land. Got a big show for you today. Yep, and Diego Pavia says he's going to run Tennessee. Then you got Pete Nakos is spilling on Nico. You know, some days there's not a ton of news, and then you get a day like today when it's just boom. You got more news than you know what to do with. And people are talking. We're going to get into that. And as you know, I never bury the lead. We got to talk about Diego Pavia. He's talking about Vanderbilt running Tennessee from now on.
Okay. All right. We got served. So now, I guess, it's on.
Oh, it's as on as it gets. And Diego was on Bussin' Boys, and here he talks about Vanderbilt taking over.
Vanderbilt's going to run Tennessee after this year. Like, this is going to be the new staple of, like, college football is going to happen here at Vanderbilt.
Do any of you and the boys ever, like, talk about that? Like, we got to be the state school.
Well,
we're in Nashville, Tennessee. Like, we're in the Music City. Like, we need to be the brand of Tennessee.
Everyone wants to come to Tennessee because of Nashville. So they want to come to Nashville, so Vanderbilt. And then when we have, like, the most money in NIL, like, why not come here? So, like, we literally just have to win this year and throughout the rest of the year. It'll take care of itself.
You think Vandy will have the most money in the game? Or
I think we'll be up there.
Yeah.
But, like, it's Nashville.
Yeah, there's a lot of big hitters around here.
Yeah.
They just need a team to believe in.
Yeah, that's all they need.
They need Diego Pavia.
Oh, yeah. You heard it. If Tennessee ever needed any bulletin board material, especially like things are right now with Joey Aguilar, possibly Jake Merklinger, I mean, they're already back against the wall. Everybody says they're not going to be any good this year. And now you've got Diego Pavia saying that Vanderbilt's going to run Tennessee. Vanderbilt. Look, they already ran Alabama last year. They beat Auburn and Alabama. They're already the Alabama state champs. Now they think they're going to be the Tennessee state champs. What? In case you didn't hear that the first time, let's hear that one more time, this little quote.
Vanderbilt's going to run Tennessee after this year.
Oh, that's all. Before the Vanderbilt game, if they're having any trouble getting the guys motivated, I play that little clip right there.
Vanderbilt's going to run Tennessee after this year.
Oh,
he got me mad. I almost like it.
Yeah, maybe Matt almost like it. Now he talks about the money that he turned down and also wanting to play in the SEC because the Big Ten's not all that. So he not only talks smack about running Tennessee, but talks smack about the Big Ten.
How much after the year was the portal blowing up for you on potential teams wanting you to come be the quarterback for them at a different school?
A lot. It was less
nuts.
like, yeah, it was less reaching out to me. It was like more reaching out to like my brothers and my family and stuff.
Was there a dollar amount that you heard that was like, holy shit?
Yeah, I don't know if I'm supposed to share, but like anywhere from like 4 to 4.5
to leave and go somewhere else.
To leave.
What conference?
SEC.
Checks out.
Ooh, in conference. Any Big Ten teams trying to get you?
You want to play with the best. You don't want to play with the Big Ten.
Oh, you know the Big Ten appreciated that. I wonder which team that would have been. You know, I was sitting here thinking, who would have offered him that kind of money? Do you think Tennessee would have in the spring after Nico and that whole situation? Then I thought about Ole Miss. That's a possibility. Then Kentucky needed a quarterback, but they'd already gotten that kid, Zach Calzada, dude.
Who?
Who would it have been? Mississippi State doesn't have that much money. Maybe Texas is a backup quarterback. They have unlimited money. Anyway, Diego, he likes to talk. So if they end up playing any Big Ten teams, he's going to hear about it beforehand. That's a great motivator for them. And then, of course, the Tennessee game. Oh, we needed that. We need something to kind of get us up for the Vanderbilt game anyway. He did a good job. Now we need to talk about Pete Nakos. He's finally spilling the beans about what it was like as a reporter breaking all that big news about Nico IAMALEAVA and all that kind of stuff. And he talks about how Nico's dad wasn't a real fan of his. And let's get into that. And this is on a show called Gramlich and McLean and their summer guest series. And this is Pete Nakos talking about the Nico saga.
I think we have to start with the Nico saga.
Yeah.
Because that was just one of the craziest events, like, happening in live time.
So, like, it was a Thursday. I know it's only been, what, like 8 weeks? Like, but I remember
it
so.
I mean, it feels like years ago.
But I remember it so distinctly because, like, I'm the kind of guy who, like, wakes up early and wants to get to the office. And I got a phone call from a source, and it's like, hey, we're pretty confident Nico's going to enter the transfer portal. And I'm like, what? Like, you're screwing with me. It's like, I don't believe you. But, like, they're like, no. Like, some stuff went down yesterday, and like, we think he's going to go in the portal. And this was a source that had nothing to do with Tennessee or Nico's camp, but someone in the college football space who would know what they're talking about. And, the funny thing in hindsight is ESPN did, like, kind of deep dive into all of this. I don't know, like 2 weeks after it happened, and they did come out and say Nico made some comments on Wednesday to some players. So I got that call Thursday, and then your radar goes up. You start trying to make the phone calls, like, okay, like, what's going on? And you quickly discover that Tennessee is in this situation where it's clear that Nico's camp would like some more money before the 2025 season kicks off. And the portal opens, and that is like 5 or 6 days, spring games in like 2 days. It's all going to come to a tipping point. So you talk to Tennessee. I talked to his dad that day too. Had a phone call with him where he basically told me to lose his number. It's like, okay. And we get to this point where it's like, okay, so we know all of this is going on. We're not going to just sit here and wait for it to happen. After talking to plenty of sources and trying to vet this thing, we decided to put out that we're comfortable reporting that there are active negotiations, that Nico's making 2.4. He loves Josh Heupel. He loves Tennessee, but they want some more money. Not everyone loved that, and that's fine. Like, as a reporter and doing what I do, I'm not like trying to like dance on a grave or be right at the end of the day, right? Like, obviously, when I report something, I stand by it. I have the sources that say it, and I trust my sources, and I've vetted my sources, and I stand by it. So yeah, driving home that day, I definitely, I was dragged all across social media, and it wasn't a fun day. And Nico's dad sent me some text messages too that, it wasn't ideal, and it wasn't a good spot to be in. And people were coming out and trying to report things too of like, hey, like, this is wrong. This is not what we're hearing. And then Friday happened.
And the rest was history.
Yeah.
So, Nakos, look, you get these phone calls and somebody breaks the story to you. And then the dad getting emotional and getting mad at him. Probably, his spider senses kind of probably went up. Because as a reporter, when somebody gets upset, it's normally because you're over the target. That's when you get the most flack. So that probably really got him rolling. And he was like, okay, I'm probably right about this. My sources are probably correct about this. So he just went on with it. And that whole Nico thing was a disaster. What an absolute disaster by Nico and his team. Winds up at UCLA with half the money, half the talent, and leaves a coach that loved him, a fan base that just treated him like gold, and he winds up out at UCLA on a team that's the number 6 most important team in the city, in Los Angeles. They got 5 other teams that are more important than UCLA, whereas he was the number 1 team in Tennessee, not Vanderbilt. Good grief. Diego.
Vanderbilt's going to run Tennessee after this year.
You gotta kind of love the smack talk, though. At least he's confident. But anyway, there's a little bit of I wouldn't call it breaking news, but he does break his silence. Nico's, finally talking about it, about what really happened. And sounds like Nico's team's not going to be a huge fan of Pete moving forward. It sounds like they blame Pete on some level, that had he not broken this story, things might have worked out. And they might have, because I think they were mad because they didn't trust whoever the insider was that gave Pete that information. They feel like Tennessee leaked it, maybe to make him look bad or to get ahead of the situation if he entered the transfer portal. But Nico and his team doesn't need anybody to help him look bad. He looks like crap in this situation, and everybody knows it.
Whoever gave him the advice to sit out killed that kid.
Regardless of how you bounce back from this,
You will be the example. He will have this as a stain on his career, and it's sad.
Yeah. When Cam Newton calls you out on it, a former quarterback, similar style play, yeah, you screwed up. So anyway, did want to break all this. The news just flying today. And if you want to watch both those videos, again, Bussin' Boys on YouTube, and the Pete Nakos one was Gramlich and McLean, also on YouTube. So you can watch the full videos. Pretty interesting. And if you like this content, be sure to hit that like button. Let's me continue to cover all these big college sports stories. And if you've not subscribed, boom, 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 hit that button right there. It will not cost you a dime. help you get my videos. And right over here's the most recent video. YouTube thinks you'll enjoy. We'll see you next time on Sports Talk Jay.
Vanderbilt's going to run Tennessee after this year.
Man's got to know his limitations.